Hi, and welcome.
I'm Z.
And I'm Keith.
And we're going to tell you about the movie that we just watched. But first, a little bit of a heads up.
Some of the movies we watch deal with heavy subject matters.
In order to talk about these emotionally delicate things and the heavy subject matters that we sometimes cover, we add humor and crude language to add some levity and to process our own trauma.
If that doesn't feel fun or safe for you, we completely understand. Please take care of yourself first and foremost.
And we spoil the end of pretty much every movie that we watch.
Now you know. On with the show.
You're such a bitch. It's the final episode of our SciFi-temper.
I know. Why do you keep telling me?
Oh my God. You're the worst. You're the worst.
The worst of that bunch.
Cherry 2000.
Sharon's 2000.
I liked this a lot, actually. I had a lot of fun with it. I was like, wow, this is actually really...
Yeah, I think I enjoyed it more this time than the first time I saw it.
Yeah.
The plot is pretty run-of-the-mill in a lot of ways.
The plot has some holes, but it's got a whole lot of heart. Sorry.
Good pun, Tina.
Thank you.
The biggest drawback to me is the lead guy.
Oh, okay. Okay.
He's not anything.
Yeah. Well, he's not much of a caricature. That's for sure.
You mean character?
No, I mean, yeah. No, I do. I'm just being funny.
You're just saying the wrong word.
Yeah, Keith. Yeah.
So this is a great start. No, I wrote down a couple things. One was, look at how there's no backstory.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which to my contemporarily trained brain is like, that. One of my biggest complaints is shoehorning in backstory that I don't give a shit about.
Yeah. My wife's in the refrigerator over there.
Yeah. Or, as we've talked about, the trope of like...
My family moves around a lot. Yeah.
Someone watching, whatever format of video footage of their family that has been broken up or whatever.
Or they're dead.
Right.
They're watching a video of their lover that's now passed.
Their dead lover, their wife and kids that they're estranged from, or the kid is dead and the wife left them, whatever.
It's always a POV. Stargate, but also Alien Covenant or whatever. That one?
Yes. Oh, yeah. That's the...
Yeah, the one. Yeah.
Just the reason... We just got to have James Franco in this movie for some reason. I mean, it's not a new trope at all.
No. Yeah, but I hate it.
Yeah.
I mean, there was almost that. It was almost that with his recording of Cherry.
Yeah.
His Cherry recordings. Right. But it wasn't really anything we hadn't seen firsthand. So.
Well, what I thought was interesting about it was I felt like I wasn't being asked to care.
Yeah. That's fair. Yeah.
It just... And, that could be, maybe that was what was intended, but I didn't feel the burden of like, really, you want me to give a shit about this dude who fucks a robot?
Fucks a robot to death, and then he's trying to find a replacement. What I thought was interesting, okay, so the plot of the movie is that this guy has a girlfriend that's a robot. And she malfunctions and basically breaks, and there is not a replacement for that specific model.
They just don't make them like that anymore.
Yeah, they don't make them like that. And he has her like sort of, I mean, it's not this, but we'll just, for those, Because
Katra.
Yeah, he has her basically hard drive so he can, just put her memories into a different Cherry model and she'll be
the same.
The same, yeah.
What about our chip?
Well, I wouldn't let you get away without that. Now, you got her basic memory right here. Her vocal patterns, reflex action, personality. They don't make them like this anymore. You do know how rare and valuable this is.
Yeah, I know.
And so he finds a tracker to hunt down this Cherry model that is in a very
Zone 7.
dangerous part of the world and the America. And yeah, and then chaos ensues as they try to get
and
to
then
Cherry.
And
then it's a slow burn love
it's
story.
an Iliad. It's an Odyssey.
But what I thought was interesting
Road
about
trip.
it was that there were aspects of it that I was almost disappointed that he chose
Edith
what is it?
Johnson.
John.
Remember? Because
And then I was almost disappointed that he chose her, not because there was anything wrong with it, but because I thought it was a very interesting thing because he runs into an ex of his that he doesn't seem, he's not, it didn't seem like he was like, oh, you're the reason that I was, which I was kind of expecting, but that didn't happen. So I was like, oh, it is about Cherry. It's not actually about him, giving up on love or anything like that. It's about, he cares about Cherry.
He's not just an incel that gave up on.
Mm-hmm. So I kind of felt, I felt like they had like kind of a nice chemistry. I thought it was really hot when they get in a car accident and he's like, how are you doing? And she's like, And then they just start making out. I thought that was really hot. I know that you were like, what? But I thought it was really hot.
Well, what I liked about it is she's maybe injured. They're in the middle of the desert. The car is wrecked and smoking.
Yeah.
And they just lie down on the hood, as you pointed out.
Yeah, on the hot hood.
Even the actors, that couldn't have been comfortable for the actors.
Yeah. Not that part, but like the before when he's like basically like he's like grabbing her shirt and like pulling it open and he's like, how are you doing? I was like, wow, this is so hot. I don't know why it was, but I was like, something about this scene was really hot. So I was like, okay, so like I accepted that they, I wasn't like disappointed, but like I wish that there had been less of Cherry just being a sort of a droid, because I felt like that defeated the purpose a tiny bit or it undermined what he was doing, which also she says.
Right.
Like that's what she says in it. He's like, we can give up. He's like, we don't have to do this. Like we can stop now. And she's like, if we stop now, then everything that we've gone through is for nothing.
Right.
And it's like, I was like, oh, that's actually an interesting point to like, for them both to keep going, even though at this point, neither one of them really wants
really
to.
gives a shit.
And I was like, oh, this is it. There were like a lot of things that were like really interesting that I was like not expecting at all. I just thought it was
given a lot of the tropes that it does do.
Right.
There are ways that others it avoids that keep it from falling into a very
right and with like I thought it was going to be a lot more like exploitation sort of thing, like it was going to be it was just going to be tits everywhere and like sex and stuff,
sadly.
But like like the beginning when they have like they're going to the club where they have to negotiate with like all the sex workers' lawyers over what they're willing to do.
You thought they were sex workers? I just thought they were regular women.
Oh.
But that's what the dating scene is like.
Oh, I thought that was what, I don't know. I thought they were, because they were like, he was like, I don't have my card, like my card's expired or whatever. I thought it was like payment for, I thought it was like a club for like hooking up, like a sex club.
Uh-huh.
I thought it was like, yeah, I don't, only because they talked about payment and like for the night, and it wasn't like relationship. Like I'm looking for,
yeah.
So that's why I assumed it was
That's
like sex
fair.
workers.
Okay. Let's see. Talking about a standard one-night arrangement, right?
I guess. Yeah.
Right, so we'll say a dinner, complete sexual encounter, full penetration, optional episode in the morning, right?
Just slow down.
You know, I personally thought it'd be nice.
Let me see this. My lawyer better see this one. For instance, the oral clause here seems a little sticky.
It's a minor point. We can work it out in bed.
Hey, you work it out in bed, because I'm not gonna be there. No.
Either way, loved that. I was like, this is great because
Well, as I commented, like, what a dystopian future. Can you imagine a world where the law is on the side of women?
yeah, right. I took it more as, this is how I took that scene. Those guys were like, your girlfriend's a robot. You need like a real woman, meaning a human woman. And then they took him to a club where it's like, it's all very robotic. So it's like essentially like, it's like
robs the humanness of
right.
it.
Like, what's the point
Yeah.
if it's just if all you're doing is negotiating terms? There is a
Right.
lack of humanness in this that I don't have to worry about with my robot.
Right.
So I thought that was sort of what it was getting at,
okay,
of like sort
okay.
of
I can see that.
poking
Yeah.
fun at the idea that like the normalcy of what he had was somehow inferior because it was a robot, which again I feel like undermines a little bit the ending.
Yes.
A little bit undermines all of that. But it was, but still, like a lot of stuff like that was very interesting. I loved the aesthetics of Anaheim.
All of them.
All of the specifically,
sets
yes.
for
No,
me.
I loved all of the sets, but Anaheim was like the club and like everything. Lawrence Fishburne as a lawyer.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I loved it. Like,
His house or whatever, his apartment.
oh
whatever.
my God. Oh my God. I loved it so much. The outside, even. I was like, holy shit. And he goes inside. I was like,
So that 3-wheel car that he drives?
Yeah.
It's called a Tri-Hawk by Hawk Motors.
by Hawk Tua. Yeah, I saw that.
That needs to die.
Yeah.
The sooner the better.
Did you see the thing I sent you on Twitter?
Yes. There was only like 96 of those produced.
Nice.
And apparently it's, according to trivia, I don't know if
It's
this
a
is
joke.
intentional, an inside joke that he pulls up and there's a Renault Le Car there because they use the same suspension or whatever.
I want to read my absolute favorite IMDb trivia entry. You know how I love IMDb trivia, and you know how I take seriously everything that they do and say. Hold on. Oh my God. Okay. With Sam's back to a deaf Earl, Earl responds to Sam's question with, I read lips, all without seeing Sam's lips. This is because Earl is not deaf. He could hear the first conversation the whole time, and saying he could, quote, read lips in the later exchange was a joke. 13 people found that helpful. 16 did not.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Ratioed.
I know. IMDb ratioed. God, that's like the second one that I've come across where someone's like explaining that something inside the movie was a joke. And I'm like,
well,
how's that trivia? Like,
I would see that one passing over some people or some people not catching that. I feel like I almost didn't catch it.
by the way, I don't know if you guys got that. It's a joke.
Pounce in the house.
Pouncing how?
Yeah, I think that's the strength of this movie. I don't know what I think about Melanie Griffith as an actor because to me she's always the same, which might be
there are things. This is okay. There's something fascinating about her because I feel like this is going to sound like an insult, and I'm not trying to say this like shitty,
right?
But like I feel like a lot of the way she looks, people would drag her today. If she looked the way she did in this movie today, people would be like, what the fuck? Like, she's got thin lips. Right. She looks, what is she, like 20 and she looks like 30? She's got like they age her in a lot of stuff, even though I feel like she's young, you know? Well, what I'm saying is a lot of the ways that they, like in fucking Working Girl, she is not wearing like, they're dressing her like a 45-year-old woman in that. And she's young, you know? She's like supposed to be in her 20s in that. Like, I don't think I don't know how old she is. But my point is, her look and her demeanor are so not expected in a lot of ways. And I find that really, really fascinating. So it's like really interesting that she...
Well, it's kind of... I don't... Tell me if this is... There's the thing that, you know, like everyone acts like Marilyn Monroe was just a bimbo and
right.
wasn't really an actor.
Right. Yeah.
But I appreciate the people who have said, no, she's clearly making choices.
Yeah, yeah. That's kind of my point. It's like, there's like a lot about her that seems like it's interesting that she was kind of considered sort of just a dumb blonde in a lot of ways. Like she wasn't, I feel like she gets a lot of like, she wasn't, you know, she's just, you know, a bimbo, you know, she's just, and like, that's always how I felt like she was presented. So when I'm watching her and stuff and I'm seeing her and these things that she's doing, I'm like, this is so fascinating that like, she doesn't look like she's done a lot of things to make herself a bimbo, you know?
Oh,
like,
I see what you're saying.
She doesn't look like she's had any work done. She looks like she looks like she's wearing eyeliner in this movie and not much else. And that's not to say, that's not derogatory in any way. Right. It's just like, she looks like very barefaced, very like she's not, she was like had a kid like a couple weeks before she started
3 weeks.
filming. Yeah. Insane. And she, you know, she's not like stick thin. She's skinny, but like she doesn't look like,
right.
You know, she doesn't look like
by today's standards.
Right. She's morbidly obese. But you know what I mean? Like she just has like this look that's like very like normal, but like in a sexy way. Like not like, I'm not like, this is what I mean. I sound like I'm dismissing a lot of stuff, but more so I'm like, I feel like the way that, you know, it's like Melanie Griffith is a real sex pot. And it's just like, you look and you're like, she's just a person here. Like she's just acting.
Yeah. That's part of
and it's very confusing that like, and I feel like she has a lot of depth, but she has that like little Mickey Mouse voice.
Yeah.
And so I don't think that she was ever, even when she was like doing stuff seriously, I feel like it's very hard that it's very difficult for her to get taken seriously in any of the choices she makes. Yeah. So there's something about her that I'm like, ooh, you know, like, oh yeah, I'm very like, oh, I want to see, like she was in this movie. It wasn't that great of a movie, but she was playing like this. It was like, I don't know, like 10 years ago or something that she was in it. And
Whoa.
She's playing like someone that's like, sort of like a mechanic for robots in the future, you know, it's like futuristic. And she's like, I don't know. I was like, I love seeing this because she was just like, it wasn't what I expected. And it was very, you know, and when I was watching this, I was like, oh man, this feels like That I feel like this
Similar.
movie, like this movie is maybe being referenced a little bit in
Yeah,
that
right.
movie. But I didn't know it when I watched it. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I find her really interesting and fascinating, and it's very. I think I want to see more things with her in it because I do find her very fascinating and am curious. Like, yeah, I don't know. There's just something about her that's not what you would think. Like,
Yeah.
it's not what I expect
Right.
anybody to look like. It's not how I expect people to. I don't know. There's just something about her that's a little bit.
No, I get what you're saying. Like,
yeah.
part of it is that, like, seems like there was an attempt to, like, definitely she's sexualized in these roles.
Yeah.
But it's not full blown. Like,
yeah.
she's not
Yeah.
taking on that role of, like,
Right.
she's not doing it either. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
this
Yeah,
has
yeah,
got,
yeah.
like, the titillating, she's changing, and
Yeah,
you
yeah,
see
yeah.
her shadow or whatever. And, in Working Girl, we see her in lingerie or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, there's plenty of opportunity to objectify her, but
Right.
it's also
Yeah.
that, she's a tracker, which
Right.
means she's does a job nobody else wants to do because it's so dangerous.
Right.
She's up-and-coming corporate woman, like
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
a head for business and a bod for sin.
Yep.
So yeah, I didn't think she was bad in this or by any means.
No. I didn't think that's what you were saying. I just felt like
Okay.
saying really uneloquently that I think she's interesting. Take 25 minutes doing it.
Dave Andrews or whatever the fuck his name is. That guy was
I didn't think he was. I didn't think he did.
he was okay. I just
yeah.
it didn't do anything for me, and
Yeah. I thought he had a pretty mouth. What?
okay.
I'm being serious.
But besides all the aesthetics, every set they go to
Wild.
is amazing
Wild. I want to live at Sky Ranch,
for real.
except for the fact that it's in the desert. And fuck that.
Yeah.
Sky high.
And even Slappy, is that his name? The last guy where
Yeah.
they stop. Even that's got its
Yeah.
little charm to it to me.
That reminded me of. I don't know why, but it reminded me of. Oh God, I can't remember his character's name or his real name. From Mystery Men, when they go see, what's his name?
Tom Waits.
Yes, and he's like in that abandoned
Yeah,
sign,
yeah.
and he has non-lethal weapons
Yeah.
only. Oh God,
Yeah, that's my favorite
I don't
part
know.
of that movie.
I love it so much.
Yeah.
God, I love that movie. Anyway,
But yeah, supporting cast I think really
Yeah.
outshines definitely. I mean, that's what I mean. Like,
right. Well,
again, maybe that
your
was the
true love,
intention.
Tim Thomerson.
steals the show, but
Yeah.
but also the scenes with Brian James,
Yeah.
the two that there are,
Yeah.
great. Love
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
And you got Robert Zadar in the background just to get killed, but
Yeah.
didn't remember that. I mean, I didn't know who he was when I watched that, and we still haven't watched anything where he's like a lead or anything. But
It's true, we haven't.
the Maniac Cop series, I think, is where it's at.
Oh, Maniac Cop.
Not to be confused with Psycho Cop, which is what I did and why we watched it.
Oh. That's where I was like, we watched. Yeah.
Yeah, Maniac Cop has at least one sequel too. So, and again,
Or Psycho Cop. Which one do you mean?
Maniac.
Okay.
Psycho Cop, I think, does have a sequel as well. But
Oh, okay. Well, you said the Maniac Cop series is what you said.
of films.
Yeah, but then you said, I think Maniac Cop has a sequel. So,
I think they both have sequels. Maniac Cop, I'm positive, has sequels.
okay. But, okay. When you listen back, maybe you'll understand why I was confused a little bit. When you listen to yourself, maybe. Maybe you'll understand where I'm coming from.
We knew. Oh, and Skeet. The whole thing with Skeet, or whatever his name is, and Thomerson calling him the wrong name, a different name every time.
How you doing down there, Sneak?
Oh,
That bird too cooked for you?
I just don't like to eat heavy before a big tournament.
What'd you say you were doing in these parts anyway?
I was on my way to Elko. Gonna play in the Elko Classic.
I've been meaning to ask you something else too, Sneep. How's my boys found these firearms smoking in your bags when they picked you up?
Oh, I just carry that for protection, you know? Protection.
What about all those dry cell batteries underneath your front seat? You're a trekker, aren't you, Jimbo?
That always gets me.
And yet when I do it, you don't find it as funny.
Because you're making fun of me.
I'm not making fun of you. I'm making fun of...
You're always just constantly negging.
Did you say negging?
Negging. Like negotiating.
Oh. Like negotiating.
Anyway.
Like negotiating.
And then we meet Six Finger Jake, and anyway, it's a basic...
Oh, that's right. Which is funny because that means he has 3 fingers on either
Correct.
hand and not, an extra finger on the hand. Which was a good switcheroony.
Is it Jake? Because she calls him Uncle Jack, and I'm like, wait a minute. Presumably, I read this somewhere that it says it was shot entirely in Nevada, which is believable, but...
For sure, yeah.
I only saw that was a claim. I didn't actually see the movie saying that anywhere.
The movie?
I think the thing I read said, in the credits, it says it was shot entirely in Nevada. But either we didn't watch all the credits to where it says that, or I just missed it, or...
Okay.
All I'm saying is, unconfirmed claim of a claim. When they finally get to the robot graveyard and they're looking for the cherry, I was reminded of the mannequins warehouse sequence in The Hidden.
Yeah.
Man, that movie.
There's one filming location in, let's see. It was a couple things were filmed in California, but mostly it was filmed in Nevada, according to IMDb.
Fucking Hoover Dam.
Yeah, that was crazy. I've been there more than once.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know if I've actually been to the dam.
I did the thing where you can be in Arizona and Nevada at once.
I'm going to go to...
I love that.
4 points.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll just shut him then.
Oh, man. I really... Sorry.
They got old Randa.
Oh my God. There was a lot to this movie that I wasn't expecting, and 2, that I didn't expect. So, no, it was aesthetically, it was really cool. There was like a lot of stuff in this that I was like, I like this. I liked that they didn't really undermine any of like Melanie Griffith's she always kicked ass. She always knew what she was doing. She was never like, oh, I need your help. Like, it was never...
Right.
She was always the one that she always made the decision.
Yep.
Like, she was always...
When he ends up driving against her wishes, that's when they crash.
Right. Yeah. Like, all kinds of shit. Like it was really... I really liked that aspect of it. I liked
the car because they didn't overemphasize it. I didn't feel like.
Yeah. They didn't explain a lot of the stuff. She was just like, click, 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 click.
Yeah.
Click, 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 click.
Right.
She was just doing a lot of stuff, and then, they went fast. And she was driving without headlights, and he's like, what the fuck?
How can you see? I mean, how can you see to drive?
Drive by feel mostly.
By feel.
Mostly.
No, it was a lot of that. I was like, oh, okay, they're just having fun with a lot of this, and that was cool.
Yeah.
Also, I like that he's like a girl tracker. No way. And then immediately he gets scammed and his ass kicked, and he's like, hey, what's up?
Meanwhile, she's been gearing up and
she's like,
getting
I
ready
know.
to head out.
He's like, I'd like to hire you. She's like, I know.
I know.
No, I know. Yeah.
So apparently production wrapped in 85, and
Yeah.
I saw conflicting things about if it actually got released in the U.S. in theaters.
It did not, as far as I can.
Okay.
It did not.
But it wasn't. It was at least 1987 before it got any theatrical release. Maybe 88. But then it ended up on VHS by the end of 88. And apparently that was meant to capitalize on the buzz around the forthcoming Working Girl.
Oh, okay. Yeah, apparently it was supposed to be released in like 86, and then it just...
Yeah, it just kept getting up. Orion was having troubles when it wrapped. And I saw other things saying like, yeah, they didn't really know how to market it because it was too many things, like it was, it's a Western, it's sci-fi, it's Mad Max, it's Blade Runner, it's...
Also takes place like Fortress in 2017.
Also The Running Man, apparently.
Wow. So I guess it got released in Europe or something like that, and then it got a VHS release like a year or so later. Like you
less than that.
Yeah, to capitalize on Working Girl, and then it got a cult following.
Right.
A little bit of a cult following from its VHS release, but it made something like it had like a $10 million budget or something, and it made like 30,000 on. I'm like,
I don't think even that much. Like
maybe 14. Yeah, 14,000. I'm like, oh my god. Supposedly Melanie Griffith says this is her like least favorite movie that she's done, and I'm like, it's got to be because of that bullshit. Because I think it's got a lot of really fun shit in it, and it's really...
Well, I imagine it being a brand new parent.
Yeah, it probably
and
was
doing
not
all
fun.
it's a lot of demand for the actors.
For sure. Yeah.
They do some crazy shit. Like all the shit on the car hanging from the... I'm sure they use stunt doubles, but like they couldn't have for all of it.
God.
And you got a plane.
No, thank
scene.
You got a plane scene.
She's blonde, beautiful, and forever young.
Ugh.
She's Terry 2000. A robotic woman that becomes a man's driving passion until he meets the real thing.
The real thing.
Just let me cook, for
I'm
fuck's sake.
sorry. I don't like how you cook sometimes.
Oh, really? She turned 30 in 87.
Okay. I always felt like she was, I don't know.
It seems... No. It seems like it could benefit from a remaster if that hasn't happened.
Mm-hmm. It's got some sick music in it, though.
Yeah, that's another story. The soundtrack, they only printed like 1,500 copies originally.
Yeah.
But since the early 2000s, it got another re-release. Yeah, according to the trivia on IMDb, it only made about 14,000 at the box office.
Damn.
Even less than Into Violence.
How much did that one make?
Like 300,000 or something.
Oh.
Kevin Costner was offered the role of Sam Treadwell.
Yeah, I saw that.
Which I appreciated because I'm like, does he remind me of Costner, this guy?
Yeah, I thought about saying that, but then I was like, is Costner who he said? And then I was like, I
say Costner, and then I'm like, a little bit Sam Neill.
Yeah.
No offense.
It's just his skin tone and the eye color. It makes you think Sam Neill. What? I'm being serious.
You're telling me I can't tell white people apart, which is...
Well, it's true.
True.
Well...
It's a certain part. to an extent.
I'm not going to say it's white people. I'm going to say it's all people. You just can't really. I don't want to say you don't have face blindness, but you definitely don't have face.
I'm legally face blind.
You have face confusion. You have face. You have face. Not quite not blind.
So mean to me.
I'm not mean. I love you despite the fact that sometimes you call me the wrong name. It's never happened. It's literally never happened.
Christ.
Never happened. What?
I was gonna just, read some credits.
Okay.
Because we got some time to fill.
Not that much.
Directed by Steve Desjardins. Produced by Edward Pressman. And Caldecott Chubb. Come on now, that's not a real person. His nickname is Cotty.
No.
Try harder. Let's try harder to come up with a... Screenplay by Michael Almereyda.
Okay, this says Goose.
Oh my God.
What?
Early screenplays by Michael Almereyda include Cherry 2019-7, the first draft of Vim Vendors Until the End of the World, and uncredited work on Total Recall. Wait, he's not the one. Who is the guy?
Oh, incorrectly regarded as goofs. At one point, Johnson addresses Six-Fingered Jake as Uncle John. This is because John is his real name and he is Johnson's actual uncle. Six-Fingered Jake is simply his nickname.
Source?
Ooh, revealing mistakes. This one's great because it's just weird. After Cherry 2000 short circuits, Sam has her, quote, lifeless body lying in bed next to him. As she lies there staring blankly ahead, the rise and fall of her chest can be seen as the actress continues to shallowly breathe. Good Lord.
Yes, okay, I thought I recognized his name. Michael Almereyda, you know what he did? Wrote and directed Nadia.
Who is that? Michael Almer. Oh, one of the writers for this.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Man, Nadia, that was a movie. Man.
Thought so.
What I'm sad about, the possibility of doing another Nosferatu November. I'm not going to find
There's not going to be another Nadia.
I'm not going to find a Martin Donovan vampire movie.
No.
Oh God. Marty D, please, for the love of God, do another vampire movie. What?
Now? At this stage?
Honestly, he could do whatever he wanted. He's playing Papa Trump in the new Trump movie, and I will be watching the shit out of that. I don't give a fuck. I don't care.
I'll do anything for love.
It's true. And I will do that. God. Mr. Donovan, if you're out there, I'll give you a free trial.
If you're nasty.
I'll give you a free trial to my OnlyFans. So.
Anything else you want to say? In summation.
Dick me down.
En conclusion. En conclusion.
No, so this is this is the final of our Sci-Fi-September. So what?
I'm laughing at myself.
Yeah, well,
that was a good month.
Yeah, I feel like we did a lot of very interesting stuff. We started out strong with Darkman. That was a good one. And then we did Fortress, which I will say I think Fortress is the weakest of all of them. I feel like the weakest of all of them.
Yeah. Shockingly, which is saying a lot, actually.
Yeah, no, for sure.
It's hard to say.
There was no bad time had with any of these.
It's hard to talk poorly of Stuart. What's his last name? Gordon Jeffrey Combs movie.
Yeah,
hard
for
to
sure.
wanna-
Yeah,
Lambert,
yeah.
Croward Smith. Yeah. I mean, that really is an indicator of what a month it's been.
You're right, for sure.
But I agree. That was kind of the...
Yeah, that was the doozer. You know, I mean, I will say that, like, I might not have... I don't want to say... I don't want to make it sound negative, but I might not have enjoyed Black Hole as much if Sven had not been involved.
Oh, for sure.
But...
Also, that's the only one we did that was, like, involved space. And for sci-fi, that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah. But also, the Black Hole was something that I never would have probably known about had Sven not recommended it. And
Yeah.
it was wild. It was very wild. There was a lot
For sure.
in that movie, especially for being a Disney movie. Whoa. Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I think Cherry might win for me.
Yeah.
Just aesthetics wise, how lighthearted and just kind of there was just something about it that was like it was like almost the end, and I was like, is this going to be my favorite out of all of them?
Yeah.
But I definitely, I think, I don't know, like Darkman had like some really great aspects to it. Black Hole was just a fun experience, thanks to Sven. And Cherry 2000 was a lot different than I was expecting, but like not in any negative way, not even in a positive way. It was just I was like,
right.
oh, okay, I was I wasn't really understanding exactly,
Right.
because I will say, like, I thought, all this time it's called Cherry 2000 and Melanie Griffith is on the cover, so I was like,
Right.
she plays Cherry 2000,
Right.
and she does not play Cherry 2000.
Right.
And for the movie being named Cherry 2000, it really doesn't have as much Cherry 2000 as I thought I was going to.
Thankfully.
Right. Cherry 2000, who I know as Brigitte from The Pretender.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And other things
That
too,
actor,
but-
you mean?
Yeah.
That actor?
That actor played Brigitte.
Who
on
played... I want to give it up to... what's her name? Ginger? She changed her name to Ginger.
She's done like nothing.
I know. She doesn't even have a photo on there.
Yeah, there was a lot that I was just like, wow.
Oh, Sam, I just love it out here. The city was just so much bull. I'm a whole different person now. I feel so secure. I feel focused, like I never felt before.
Elaine, I told you I was with someone. Can't you understand?
I said I changed my name. Can't you respect that? Can't you listen when I talk to you?
Yeah, and like the whole thing with his ex-girlfriend and her outfit changes were amazing.
Yes.
Like all this shit, like a lot. This is something that I really love about 80s movies, is that there will be so much lended to the aesthetic that they lean into the absurdity of
Yes.
it. And I love shit like that. I love when someone takes costumes seriously, but like in the sense of like as a character,
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I have to dress for this event. And then it's like,
Yeah.
they're in a theme and it's just
Right.
ridiculous. Like I love shit like that. So yeah, there was a lot of aesthetics in this movie that
Yes.
I feel like it wouldn't have been as fun without. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
No,
there's
I think
just-
that's the real... What's the fifth character?
Oh my God.
The real star in the movie is all the set design
Yeah.
and wardrobe.
Yeah, it was really, it was, there's a lot more to this movie than what I expected.
transition of seeing, all the stuff with the car being raised by the magnet or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
None of it makes sense to me.
For sure, yes.
But terrifying.
Oh,
and effective.
Terrifying, but also I love when they lower them into and then that also, and then they have to take the car out.
Then they just, they leave the car.
Yeah. Love it.
Go for it. They dip a chip and then they slip a dip.
I forgot to ask this before we recapped.
Oh, yeah.
Would you recommend this movie?
I would, yeah.
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 Same. Yeah. I think it's really, yeah.
This is the longer we go do this project, I'm like, yeah, I've never seen Repo Man, and
yeah,
if I've seen Buckaroo Banzai, it's only in snippets or something.
Yeah.
So I feel like those are big holes in my.
Yeah.
Liquid Sky is another one that.
I've never seen Liquid Sky. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you had.
No.
Yeah,
I've seen Buckaroo Banzai.
Yeah, I thought the ex showed you Liquid Sky, and then.
No, she told me about it.
Oh, okay.
And was like, you should watch that.
I think it's probably overrated. Like, it's...
For sure.
I feel like it gets...
Yeah. Yeah, reference so
a lot
much.
of credit and...
Yeah.
And I know it's an early sort of queer punk movie.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know enough about it to be able... And I think I get it confused with other movies. So
yeah, same.
Yeah.
Anywho.
I've never seen Brazil, and I've never seen.
I fell asleep watching Brazil.
I don't think I enjoy Wim Wenders. He does. Yeah. That's Brazil, right?
No, that's Terry Gilliam.
God damn it!
Who did
Brazil?
Terry Gilliam did Brazil. He also did Time Bandits, The Fisher King, and 12 Monkeys.
Yeah, which The Fisher King and 12 Monkeys I enjoy.
12 Yes, same. 12 Monkeys, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't even know.
Yeah.
Despite having watched
it. Yeah. Yeah. I know.
Apparently, the Time Bandits TV series, headed by Jermaine Clement, was canceled 50-some days into its release, into its run.
Yeah.
And presumably Gilliam visited the set and stormed off. Nowadays, to me, that's like that makes me want to watch it.
For sure. So. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't know it was even happening. You said something
I'd seen
about
references.
You said something. I didn't know it was a series.
Yeah.
And I didn't know it was already happening or whatever. So I don't know.
I don't even know where it is. I feel like it's one of those things too. It's like Apple Plus on Spotify Premium.
Yeah.
Streaming via
Apple Plus on Spotify Premium, where you can also hear a podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have much else to say, and by that I mean
this is I watched this one for the aesthetics and
for sure. Yeah.
I mean, again,
and I do love the ridiculousness, set in 2017. I do love the ridiculousness of how far advanced they assumed we were going to be, but also didn't account for things like cell phones or anything,
Right.
So stuff like that is always really fascinating to see where they...
if you notice, there's always some major... collapse is also happening.
Yes.
Which is
not wrong, but
correct.
The assumption that it wouldn't just make capitalism worse.
Well, I think that's part of.
Well, what I'm saying is that society itself would collapse, as opposed to it would just make everything get more expensive, and we would all just keep going and acting like that was normal. Is what I mean. Do you want me to stop? The player, I mean the recorder.
Please stop. Jesus Christ.